Well, good morning and welcome to Pyjama preaching for Monday the 29th of June. I'm sitting on a Saturday morning in Dawlish overlooking Corrigan Cove. I'll let you have a little view. A family's just come onto the beach, so I'm going to be very careful that I don't end up collecting their images as well. So there we are, reading from Chapter 1 of Mark's Gospel, verses 40 to 45. A man suffering from leprosy fell to his knees before Jesus. "I know you can cure me," he said, "but will you?" His heart was full of compassion. Jesus stretched out a hand to touch him. "Of course I will," he said. "Be whole again." As Jesus spoke, all trace of the disease disappeared. "Don't breathe a word of this to anyone," Jesus told him. "Show the priest what has happened and do what their law demands. Your healing is a sign for them too." But of course, the man couldn't stop talking about it to everyone he met. Soon Jesus had to avoid the towns, but that made no difference. The crowds always found him. So in the New Testament, leprosy was regarded with fear and pity. It's an awfully debilitating disease. Nodules, loss of sensation, skin discoloration, loss of fingers and toes. Its advanced stages, nerve wasting, just awful. In Jesus' time, any skin disease meant that person was unclean and they had to live outside of others. They were banished. Even in the Middle Ages, a priest wearing a stole and carrying a crucifix would lead lepers into church and read the burial service over them, because lepers were people who were already dead, though still alive. If ever a leper was cured and real leprosy was incurable, so it is that some of the other skin diseases which must be referred to, the person had to go through a complicated ceremony of restoration. And if you look in Leviticus 14, you'll find the rules. He had to be examined by a priest. 2 birds were taken, one was killed over running water. And there were taken cedar, crimson yarn and hyssop. And these things and the living bird were dipped into the blood of the dead bird. And then the live bird was allowed to go free. The man washed himself, his clothes were shaved. He shaved himself. 7 days then elapsed and he was re-examined. He then had to shave his hair, his head, his eyebrows. A certain sacrifices were made: 2 male lambs without blemish, 1 ewe lamb, a measure of fine flour mixed with oil, 1 log, a measure of oil. And the amounts were less for the poor. That was kind. The restored sufferer was touched on the tip of the right ear, the right thumb, the right big toe with the blood and oil. He was given the final examination, and if clear of the disease, he was allowed to go with a certificate that he was clean. Now let's see what Jesus did. Well, he didn't drive the man away, because the man had broken the law, because the leper, he had no right to speak to Jesus at all. But Jesus met the desperation of human need with love and compassion. Jesus stretched out and touched him. Well, that was something you wouldn't do, touching somebody who was unclean. But to Jesus, this man wasn't unclean. He was simply a human soul in desperate need. And having cleansed him, Jesus sent him off to fulfill the prescribed ritual. He sent him to the religious people of the day to let them do their stuff. So he fulfilled human law and also human righteousness. So he didn't recklessly defy the conventions, but when needed, he submitted to them. So here again we see compassion, power and wisdom all at work together. And so I suppose with COVID we can have some imagination of what it must have been like at the time when leprosy was a pandemic. And the fear and the hatred and the disgust and all of that was there against lepers. So Lord, we pray today for all the hatred in the world, for all those that are sick, for those who still have leprosy and are cured, but for those that are still shunned by society. So Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. So we pray for today for your guidance in our lives again, as we wait upon you, as we ask you to show us what to do. So a final scan of the beach for you. May God bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you and keep you safe. Amen.